Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Tuesday and I'm here for tea time. I am home again, which feels so very, very good. And I thought I would share tea time here with Ari, who is napping in his perfect little hay bed. It's okay, buddy. I'm just talking. You can keep napping. It is springtime here. You can hear the frogs singing in the background and the sun is shining and it's beautiful out. So today I felt inspired to talk about the space between the differences. This is something I often call flow. I often call harmony. I would love your suggestions on other words to call it. But the idea is that there is always a change. So Ari just gave us a change. He was lying down and now he's standing up. He changed the relationship between us. The changes are what catch everybody's attention. You always think about, how do you cause a horse to change? How do you cause a horse to do what you want it to do? How do you train a horse to do all the right things on the right commands? But that's not really what I'm interested in so much. What I'm interested in more is what happens between those differences. So in most horse training, all the emphasis is put on how do you cause change? How do you make a transition from go to stop or from forward to backwards? How do you make a turn or spin the horse around or speed them up or slow them down? And all of that's good. There is a time and a place for all of that. I'm very pro horse training. I think horse training is great. But in terms of life with horses, I think the more important quality is the space between all those changes. So in this moment, Ari decided he got the right distance from me, and now he's going back to sleep. And in this moment where we're just peacefully together, there is a power of relationship there that is worth something. He's gonna go get a drink of water. In the paddock over here, I have Atlas and Ocasio. And as I'm walking in, I am making a change. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm alive, I'm a living being. Changes are part of who we are. And a lot of horse training focuses on how to make the right changes at the right time to get the right impact with the horses. And I would like to think a little bit more about what happens between the changes. What happens between the moments you're making changes. Here's my theory. If we emphasize the space between the music notes, that's where you get the most artistry. If we emphasize just the music notes, it's good. There's nothing wrong with that, but it lacks the artistry. It lacks the ease, the peace, the harmony. The real skill is in what we do between the actions. Now, how do we do that? How do we define that? How do we make it important? How do we value it? How do we teach horses to value it? That is what I study. Huh, Cassio? So yes, I do horse training. Yes, I teach them how to go and stop and turn and be healthy and have action and all those things. But more importantly, I teach them that being peaceful together is desirable. Now, that peace can be here while we're sitting in the paddock and I'm having tea with you guys. It's absolutely okay for that to be one of the ways we have peace. It is also okay to have that peace He was voting for more action, less peace, which is classically what Ocasio does in this herd. He's very young. He's a little bit impatient. He tends to nudge. Developing peace is not his strong suit. Hi. He's much more for the action. And actually, thank you, Ocasio. This is a good point to talk about, that even if peace is the goal, even if flow and harmony is the goal, we have to accept the reality. And the reality is that either the human or the horse might be too impatient or too energetic or too something for peace to exist. Ocasio is a perfect example. Hi. Did you want to smell my tea? It's mint. So he's much more inclined to action than peace. But over time, as he matures, as he develops, we will nurture his enjoyment of peace instead of chaos. Now, the fact that he likes a little bit of chaos means that my whole herd gets a lot more exercise when he's living them, because that playful, energetic peace, the playfulness does keep them exercised, and that's really good. But in order to be a really, really deep partnership, we have to balance our love of changes and our love of peace and harmony. Huh, Ocasio? So I have my 2 stallions and Ocasio, my gelding, up here next to my house. And they all have different preferences for peace or harmony or action or differences. And as long as I accept each one of them for who they are, and then nurture that space between the differences. Yes, Ocasio might nudge me occasionally and say, too much flow, too much peace, too much harmony. In which case, I'm a little late, I'm a little slow. But then he's willing to take a breath and say, but we can also have this space between the differences where we're just together. And then we need to do something. Yes. And then we can have peace again. So, yeah, Regina says the space between differences reminds me of the lapses in time. It's sort of an interesting thing to think about when you do normal horse training, because normal horse training is all about getting the horse to do a thing. And when you're putting that pressure on them, even if it's just the pressure of, waiting for them to do it, that pressure says that this moment is not good enough. And I'd like to change that a little bit. This moment, right here, is perfect until it's not. And when it needs to change, we'll change it. We'll play, we'll make differences, we'll move around, and then when we've moved around enough, we can have harmony again and flow. And then at some point, it will be too much. And we'll have to make changes again. I didn't plan to do this tea time with Ocasio, but he is the perfect demonstration of going back and forth between differences, where he wants something to change, something to be entertaining, and then peace, flow, harmony, ease. So those are my thoughts for today. I would like to start normalizing the moments with horses where there is only harmony. I find that we all post videos of the action sequences, the stuff that goes wrong, or this little bit of a fight or a play or a battle. What if we post those quiet moments? And I'm not saying they can't be fast. They can be quiet at a gallop. If you're riding your horse at a gallop, but neither one of you is pushing the other one to change, that moment is perfect in itself. That's what I'm talking about. Now, for the younger horses, they can't do that for very long. They thrive on change, they thrive on play, and you have to accept them for where they're at and work with them and give them all the changes they need. And then when they settle, you can enjoy the harmony. So thank you guys for joining me for tea time. Hopefully that's good food for thought. Cassie and I wish you a really good day, and we will see you next week. Oh, Cassie. He's saying that we got to get going, do a few more things. This is enough sitting around for one day. We'll look for our next space, our next piece of harmony. But for now, I have to get going. Have a good day, everyone.